what's up you guys? It's Lexi DIY and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to get into episode 1 of the Hot Mess Lake House living room transformation. Now I'm going to do this renovation a little different than I did it in my previous house because I don't know how many episodes each room is going to take to complete, and just because sometimes I have to switch between projects, there might be a week where you see me switching to another project even though I haven't quite finished everything on, you know, the project that you see me do the week before, and that's because things take time to come in, and I'm doing a lot more larger projects in this house, so it's gonna take a lot more time, so just be aware of that. But make sure that you guys stick around to the end of the video because I have a super exciting announcement that I can't wait to share with you guys. But I'm gonna stop talking now and let's go ahead and hop into today's video. I am so excited to get started in this room because as you can see, it has such good bones and so much potential. This is actually one of the main reasons we wanted to buy this house, was this large like living room space with the vaulted ceiling and the floor to ceiling fireplace. It also has a lot of windows. It's connected to the sunroom, which you guys may or may not have seen me done in my last video. But it still feels really dark in here, which is for a few reasons. The paint color, and there's not really any overhead lighting, only on this wall, which is supposed to be like a little dining nook, but it's not quite big enough, so we might open up that wall in one of these living room episodes. And then this fireplace is so gorgeous, but the whole wood vibe everywhere isn't really my vibe, so we're gonna be doing something to that. But we're starting with taking down the curtains. I know that these inside windows are weird, but I do kind of like the separation that they give. Although I couldn't really understand why the previous owners had put up curtains there, because really it just like blocked light and it wasn't obviously for privacy. So those came down, and then of course there was like probably 20 years of dust on these walls. And so I got my Swiffer duster out and tried to get as much as I could off. Then it was time to tape off the fireplace, because although I'm not going to be painting it right this second or doing whatever else I have planned for it, I don't want to get anything on it, because when I go to do something to it, I want it to, you know, be clean and not have a bunch of stuff on it. So I'm taping off the edges first, and then you're gonna see me go back and actually put plastic on it to cover it up. This is just to make sure we didn't have any leaks on the side. Now, initially when I went to Dollar Tree, they didn't have any of their painter's plastic that they normally have. So I just bought shower curtains because I was just like ready to get started. And honestly, the painter's plastic at like the hardware store is usually a lot more expensive than the ones from Dollar Tree, and the ones from Dollar Tree, you can like easily rip them on the seams, which I like. So anyway, that's what I'm using to do the bottom part. It didn't quite cover the entire thing, and also we had to break out our other ladder and go back and do the rest of it later, you'll see, because even this 8-foot ladder, I could not reach the top of the fireplace. Then it was time to go and fill in all of like the little nail and screw holes in the wall, which there were quite a few. I also, while I was doing this, tried to get any like stray dust bunnies that were still up on the wall that maybe I wasn't able to see before or just missed, because, you know, they just kind of kept popping up out of nowhere. But once all of those were done, I went back and I sanded them down. We also had some like larger settlement cracks that we got them checked out like when we had our home inspection, and they weren't a big deal or anything. It was just like, obviously the house is pretty old, it was settling. So I kind of like filled those in too, because it was more of like the paint was just cracked. It wasn't like deep cracks. I don't know. Anyway, then Dustin was so sweet and wrapped these beams for me so I could take a little bit of a break, because I'm not gonna lie, I've been having a lot going on lately, and I just needed like a nap and like to go shopping. So shout out to Dustin for wrapping these beams in the shower curtain liners from Dollar Tree. Also, I'd like to note that from this angle, you can see my discrepancy with these beams. They're at an extremely odd height, and they kind of cut the fireplace in half, and they really make the room feel a little bit smaller than it is because they're just like at an awkward height, right? So if they are not structural, they will be coming down. I know that one is like hit or miss, but the top beam that I'm like taping around right now at the top of the fireplace, that one that goes across the entire ceiling, that's going to be staying up. And I do like the looks of the beams. It's just where those two are placed don't really make any sense. So yeah, we're gonna get a structural engineer in here this week to actually see, you know, what is what's possible, and kind of move forward. But for now, we're gonna wrap them just in case they're structural and we have to keep them. And if not, if they get to come down, then don't worry. I'm actually gonna save them for a project, maybe like some furniture or art. So they won't be wasted, and they'll go to good use somewhere else in the house. Now, before I taped off the window, you could see how dreamy the view is to this little gazebo that's in our side yard. It is so cute. It literally looks like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like I'm living in my own little fairy tale world, and I'm obsessed with it. And even though we are not keeping these floors, I am taping them off because I don't know when we are going to get to replacing the floor in the entire house. I have some samples picked out, but I didn't really like any of them. And then I realized, wait, I need to paint this entire room and get new lighting and see what the samples look like in that new lighting and in like the new space, because they're definitely not going to look nearly the same. So although these floors are getting replaced, and by the way, these are not real wood floors, we're covering them for now. And I also took this like extra long Ethernet cable out because we have our router plugged in somewhere else, and it was just kind of like in the way of everything. And we have like a bunch of those randomly all over the house, so we're only keeping like 2 or 3. And I covered up everything else. I used a ridiculous amount of painter's tape, you guys. Like, it was a lot. And the reason I didn't do plastic on the floor and I did like this paper is because plastic is super slippery and sticky, and like with me going up and down the ladder while I'm painting in like with such a large room, there's obviously going to be a lot of that, and I really didn't want to like slip and slide and all of that. So huge tip, if you're going to cover your floors, definitely use the paper. And then I'm taking off all of like the plate covers and this AC cover, and oh my gosh, you guys, wait until you see this. Ew. That's disgusting. Needless to say, this was absolutely horrifying and had clearly not been cleaned. We are going to get a professional like HVAC company to come out and do a professional deep clean of our entire system, because after seeing that, I was scared. But we're gonna wait, obviously, until the painting's done, just because, you know, there's gonna be more particles, more dust and stuff that gets all up in our air ducts, and we might as well get it like fully freshly cleaned once like any dusty part of the renovation is over. Then I just taped off the rest of the doorways and stuff, and I'm taping everything off because I don't want any of like the little particles when I'm using my paint sprayer to get into the other rooms or to get to the dogs. And don't worry, I am going to be wearing a respirator and just like some protective stuff. And then I like taped off this little cart, which I thought was kind of genius, and I kept like my extra stuff and my drink on the bottom so that I could roll this around with me while I painted. Before we get to spraying, obviously had to get our paint sprayer all set up, and basically I just make sure that like it's coming out correctly, a lot of stuff, and make sure my paint is mixed really good and whatever before I start spraying. Then I put on like all my safety stuff just to make sure that I'm protected. Then it was time to start spraying, and make sure you guys come back next week to see the living room fully painted, and stick around because I have an exciting announcement. Thank you so much if you made it all the way to the end of today's video. You guys, prepping this room took like a long time, like much longer than I anticipated, but it's okay because it's ready for paint and you guys are gonna see all of that next week, so make sure you stay tuned. But I have a super exciting announcement. I am going to be attending VidCon in Anaheim, California. It's actually coming up next week, like almost 1 week from today, and they have asked me to host a meet and greet. I can't disclose which day or what the location is yet, but I wanted to let you guys know that I was gonna be there and there's going to be an opportunity to get to meet you guys. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm just honored that they would choose me and invite me to do something so cool. I'm also a little nervous that maybe like nobody will show up. You know, numbers on a screen, it's kind of hard to wrap your mind around the fact that all of those are real human beings that like care and want to watch you and, you know, are interested in what you're doing. So yeah, I don't know how it's gonna go, but I'm also going to do a little vlog of my first time getting to go to VidCon. It's such an honor, and I know it's gonna be such a fun experience. So if you guys wanna see anything specific, like behind the scenes, definitely drop me a comment and let me know, because I basically know as much as you guys do. It's my first time going and I don't really know what to expect, but I'm excited to bring you guys along. If you guys aren't already, make sure that you guys are subscribed to my YouTube channel and ring that bell notification so that you never miss when I upload next, as well as follow me on all my other social medias. They'll be linked here on the screen and in the description box below. But that's it for me today, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!